Hello, everyone, and welcome to my very first podcast. So, for this first person that I'm going to interview, I have an introduction for him because this person is someone that I've worked with in the past and I've enjoyed working with him in the past. And so, here's the intro that I wrote last night before going to bed. He is a rising artist in Montreal with 2 albums right now that both debuted at #1 in the Canadian charts. He's one of the most hardworking and consistent people I've had the pleasure to work with in the past. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest at this time, Mr. Daniel Saad himself.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Hans. It's a pleasure to see you after all those years.
It's been so long that you still call me Hans because that's not even what I go by anymore.
I know, it's Hanan.
Hanan,
I
yeah.
know. That's honestly, I'm gonna be straight up. That's your name on my.
Because we started.
contacts.
That's how we started. You know.
Yeah.
It's been a while. How long has it been?
Since last time I saw you in a music context, if I were to say that, 5 years ago. And then I ran into you like we talked earlier at Shoppers.
Yeah.
2 years ago. So it's still been a minute.
Time flies.
Time flies, indeed.
And I don't think that you're the same person as the last time we sat down and worked. And I'm definitely not the same person
Yeah,
as
we
that.
both changed. Bro.
Yeah. It's crazy how time flies. And like you said, your phone closed off. What was the password? It was 10?
10, 15, 16.
I'll cut it out. Tell 15.
I'm going to have to change it after this
16,
podcast in case someone runs into me.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with, for people that don't know who you are, how would you introduce yourself? Who is Daniel Saad?
Daniel Saad. Honestly, I try to detach myself from anything that doesn't that isn't relevant to my identity over a long period of time, and I try to present myself with the one thing that doesn't change, and it's my faith. So I would say that Daniel Saad is a man of God that loves Jesus and happens to make music and happens to work in finances and happens to be this and that, those external things that can change over time. So yeah, that's how I would present myself. That's who Daniel Saad is.
So that's funny because the first thing that you mentioned is that Daniel Saad is a man of God.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't even mention the music part. Where does that come into your life? Like how much of it is music, your identity, more than something else?
I mean, music has always been part of my life. I mean, I wouldn't say always, but for the majority of my adulthood so far, in my late teenage years, music. I would say that I'm an artist, of course. So if I were to present myself, I would also add that I'm an artist. But just like you and I, we had different paths, and whether it's music or just anything in the entertainment or hobby industry, whatever, it fluctuates. So 2 years ago, the kind of music that I would make is very much different than the music I make now. So I'm still an artist, but music-wise, who knows, maybe 5 years from now, that could change and I could do something else.
You might be doing
entirely.
rock or something.
Yeah, bro. And even outside of music, maybe I'll be like, you know what, I want to go into photography, or I want to go into like a full 9-to-5 corporate career. Who knows? God knows only. So that's why I try to detach myself from, those things that I think define me for now, but over time can fluctuate. And that's solely because I'm single right now, but as soon as you have like a family and all that,
Things
if I were to
change.
present myself, I would be I'm a father or I'm a husband, because it's a status that is permanent. Yeah.
How is that looking to you? Are you, obviously you said it's important to you to have a family and all that.
Yeah.
But that's later on, or how is that? What's happening with that in your life right now?
I mean, obviously later on, that's my goal. Try to have a a good foundation, a good family, be a good husband, a good father. Uh, I do want to have children, and I know that I'm in between those two philosophies where it's like I need to be the best version of myself before I can be a good husband and a good father. And then there's the other side of the coin where I'm like, well, regardless, I'm still gonna be improving even if I'm a father. So I shouldn't wait until I reach that epitome of that image that I have as like the perfect father, the perfect husband. So um when the right one comes, I guess when the right one comes, then it'll be a different type of conversation. But for now, just focusing on myself and whoever wants to join me on my journey, whoever God puts on my path, I'll take it. And I try to not run or chase after those things, because it's God provides. God will tell me when it's the right time to get married, to be in a relationship, and to consider having children, etc.
I feel like that's the vibe I get when I see you, someone that's actually focusing on himself, and then realizes that when that time comes, it'll happen, but there's nothing forced in that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. I feel like I'm the same way. I don't run after these things, and I feel like what was it, 10, 15, 16? Keep shutting off.
Yeah.
We remember the last few videos that I made before I left music. Do you remember
Yeah.
what those were?
Yeah, you were talking about like you were having a very introspective talk, I believe.
I
Is
feel
that
like
the
it was
one?
exactly what you went through.
Yeah.
Cause my thing, but it was two different conclusions.
Yeah.
My thing was, I I was asking myself, like, who am I, and do I really want to identify as this artist or this person that I'm showing everyone that I am?
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird. It kept, cause we both have different faiths, but it tied down to the same thing, knowing that like there's weird stuff in music.
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff happening, and you have to be careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
And me, I looked into my faith and everything and saw how what was allowed and what wasn't allowed, and why it wasn't. And then I read a bunch of things about like frequencies that they use to get inside your head, and just overall how music changes your mood and your behavior. And yeah, my conclusion was, no, I don't want to I don't want to be part of this. And it was more so of like, I had cuz when you're doing it for 4 years,
Yeah.
every single day, I had to tell myself, okay, no, I was actually forcing myself to stop doing exactly what I love to do. Like, when you find exactly what you want to do, and I feel like we've had this conversation before, it's like it was so clear in my mind where I was going, and it was working for me too. Like when you see it's working, you're good at it, and like, and then just life hits you. It's like,
Yeah.
no, completely switch around. That's not what you're doing. Think about who you are, whatever. And then all that crashed, and everything went out the
Downhill
window.
afterwards,
Well, it wasn't downhill. It was just like a change of perspective.
like a full 180.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's not what I want. Let's focus on what you do actually want. And I'm glad I took that step, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be as close to my faith as I am right now. And I'm not saying I'm the best. Like, there's always room for improvement. Okay, so that was question 1. I have like 10 of these.
God damn. Yeah.
Okay, question 2 I wrote down. What's the dream for Daniel? What's the ultimate goal for you? Let's talk first, not in life, but in music. What's the ultimate goal for you in music?
To live off my music, and to actually be able to make it a career and change people's lives through my craft. and I think that it's linked to um, a desire to serve other people, but like obviously not serve. If there's one thing that I would like to get in return with my music when I serve is, gratitude, and to see the results, the fruits of my labor, like people who genuinely love my music and feel like it impacted their lives positively. I feel that's the reward. But that's the dream, to make music and be able to change people's lives. And obviously a monetary reward is nice to be able to sustain, to have a sustainable life, and especially if I have to put food on the table for my family. And yeah, that's the dream when it comes to music. But it's I feel like there are a lot of things that I'm doing right now without the music that I feel like if it were merged with making music, it would be like exactly what I would be looking for in life. Like for instance, traveling. I
Okay.
feel like that would be dope to travel for my music. And like I've already traveled a lot in the past 2-3 years by God's grace, but it's I try to imagine myself like traveling for music and with friends and like shoot videos there
Hmm.
and just make content. And I've done that a little bit, especially the past 2 years when I went to Spain, like a week and a half ago,
Yeah.
and I went to Italy last year, and we shot some content. And I feel like my dream would be to do that all year long, and go on tours and meet people, but not like on Drake's level. I feel like it's nice to have a relatively modest kind of career where you like it would be nice to sell out stadiums, but if I'm able to sell like to have some smaller venues like the few events that I did, I'll be happy with that. And that's what you need, with a fan base that will be dedicated to you, and you'll be able to make a living off your music. You don't need like 10 million monthly listeners, 10
Interesting.
million
Yeah.
fans. You
You're
need
right.
like 1,000, 2,000 people that will buy your stuff every time,
Die hard
nonstop. Your
fans.
albums, your on iTunes,
Yeah.
your merch. Let's say every one of those people is willing to put 75, $100 for 1,000 people. 1,000 times 100. You made your money,
Yeah.
or even 2,000. So you don't need 10 million.
But
Yeah.
if 100 people are dedicated to you,
Yeah.
that means that the reason why they're dedicated to you must be a significant reason,
Yeah.
which would want another 100 to be dedicated to you, and then another 100, and then that's when that's when it goes crazy. It's when
Yeah.
you see an artist that's like striving for so long, like you. I thought I was consistent, but you beat me to it tenfold. Like it's
His speaker is loud.
yeah. You like me when I was posting and everything. I thought like I was pretty consistent with
Yeah.
with everything, but the way that you've just kept it going and surrounded yourself with people, and I wanted to get into this too, the producers that you work with, um the videographers that you work
Mhm.
with, everyone that makes the brand that's Daniel Saad. Talk to me about those people, and how did you get in touch with these people, and who they are, and what that means to you to have a solid
Mhm.
team.
So I'm gonna give you like two answers.
Okay.
So the first one, the basic one, but divine orchestration. Like all those people that I met, I feel like I met them because God wanted me to, and He put them on my path. So the three names that I have in mind are A Golden Coast. That's my music producer. I have Telly, who made a lot of my videos. I have Giancarlo, who's a good friend of mine. He's my brother. He helped me do a lot of like the reels, and he shoots for me every time. And also I'll add a fourth person, and that's Dimaz. Dimaz, the studio I go to, Harmless Gang.
Harmless Studio.
Shout out Harmless. Um, Harmless Studios. I've been working with Dimaz for like 5 years, every time. And how I met those people individually, a lot of them through social media. So like Golden Coast, social media, Dimaz, social media initially. Telly used to be in my primary school, and then we disconnected. Then we reconnected when I wanted to do music, like in 2019 or late 2018.
Telly was shooting our the music video that we were doing.
Yeah,
Those
exactly.
were the times.
The Over Love.
Yeah.
Throwback.
Throwback. I'll play a little clip over Love.
Yeah.
Over Love and Dial, I think I had a feature in.
Yeah, and you had another feature on the Angels and Demons. Wasting no time. Na, na, na,
Was that released?
Yeah.
No way, I didn't even know that was released. Oh my god.
It was on my.
Oh yeah, it was on your EP. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Shit.
been. Yeah, you did 3 songs with me: Over Love, Dial, and Angels and Demons.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, I have to talk to you about one guy. He lives in the States, but he's shown a lot of support to whatever I did, whether it was like fitness or music or whatever.
Yeah.
He's an artist too. He's a rapper. He goes by Metallic Alec. He's on Instagram. It's crazy how much support this guy shows me, and he's like, I think he's at like a good amount of following. He's like, and he's consistent. Like the guy is posting and putting out music. I think I'll put you on to him. Check it out if he's your kind of thing.
Yeah, send me his.
Yeah, it'd
profile
be nice.
after.
It'd be nice to see you guys do something. Maybe it'll work out. I'll send it to you. Check it out. But yeah, what were we talking about?
The people who helped me with my music, who made the brand.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro. Like honestly, I'm not a self-made man. Like yes, I did put the work in for my music and everything that I've done, especially with the last project. But man, I owe it all to God first, and then the people I've worked with. You know, I'm very blessed to have a lot of amazing friends who genuinely believe in my music and my craft, and are like avid believers that I could make it, you know. And they're like, yo, it's just a matter of time. And it's very healthy to have those kinds of friendships where it's like they're not yes men, they're realistic, and they're, whenever I'm the one who has a lot of doubts and I'm uncertain, that I have a low self-esteem at times, they're there to cheer me up and just to give me a reality check at times. So yeah, like honestly, it's a blessing to work with those people and to be able to make music with them and just to create. And for me, I just love to create with people. People help me create, and we're probably going to talk about it later on. But for me, everything. I think I had a glance at one of your.
You saw my questions.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Once you ask that question,
Okay.
the answer I have in mind, I'll give it to you.
Okay, so let's take a 5-second break. I just want to make sure everything's recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is the question you were talking about.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was there a moment where you thought that, or was there a specific moment that you remember that turned you into the person who you are now? Like you described, faithful to God and prioritizing your faith?
I wouldn't say that there was a flip of a switch moment, because my beliefs are that we're, as emotional beings, we tend to fluctuate a lot, and
Every day.
yeah, every day. And my experience with faith is that I'm very blessed that I was born into a Christian family and raised, in the ways of Christ. But teenage years came in, and then rebelling, etc. Went into the world, did stuff, whatever. And then I had a lot of moments, a lot of experiences that, like near death experiences that for the typical being, they'd be like, okay, this is when I have to make the switch. No, me, I needed a couple of them before I.
Or like a car crash or something?
Stuff like that. Car crash. Ended up in ICU in 2017.
Oh, wow.
Like saw my life flash. And despite all those aren't the moments when I turn to God. It's an ongoing process, and it's like, for instance, it's like when you go to the gym or when you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Just like, it won't be on the 101st time that you brush your teeth that, okay, now they're white. On the 100th time, it's still yellow. It's a ongoing process. When you go to the gym, you'll go 100 times doing biceps, whatever. Then the 101st time, there won't be a distortion between the two instances,
I see.
So it's the same thing with faith. I don't think that, in my opinion, regardless of your faith, in my case with Christianity, I really don't think that for the majority of people it's healthy to have that belief that your life will switch overnight, that your addictions, you let go of your addictions, you're never gonna go back to them ever. You won't have a relapse. It's important, that's why it's important to appreciate the journey, to don't seek like immediate results. We tend to be very dependent on immediate rewards.
Yeah.
Like, our dopamine system is really messed up now, when you go on TikTok, like, oh, this video doesn't fulfill me, I'm not feeling anything. You scroll, but you have to build. Your faith is something that's getting built. Your body is something that's getting built. Your health is something that's getting built. Letting go of addiction is something that's getting built. And when you build something, it's not, you don't dump it and it just appears overnight. It's brick by brick. And with God, with my experience, that's what happened. I've had a lot of moments where I could think, when I look back at them, could have gave my life to God at that time, but no, it wasn't the case. For me, it was just routine. It just inner realizations, and it just came.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because me, I feel like it's not the opposite, but my brain works in, okay, it's not happening today, it's not happening, but I know one day it's gonna happen. And then eventually, because for some reason I know that it's gonna be one flip of a switch for me. Like it was that with faith with me too. It was like one day I think I was like getting ready for bed.
Yeah.
And then I just went to the studio, and I talk to myself a lot, or I'll if I have something to say, I'll flip on the camera and I'll film it to watch it back after.
Yeah.
And I started talking to myself. I probably have this video somewhere, and I have some weird videos of me just when I was at the best stage of my life, like mentally.
Yeah.
I was telling myself, like, okay, this is amazing. Like, if this is one video exactly. I said, if I were to die right now, like, I'm happy, because I'm so close to God, and I'm so close to everything that I believe in. Like, this is perfect. And I was talking to God, and I said, don't. Well, I can't say don't, but like, it'd be a shame if something, and I knew what that something was, and I mentioned it too, if this were to come into my life, things are gonna get a lot worse, or things are gonna get like, I'm gonna sidetrack for sure, because that's my hardest challenge, because I know myself. I know what
Yeah.
I can resist and what I can't. And what ended up happening, that exact thing came into my life,
Mhm.
and it went downhill.
Yeah.
And now I'm living through that downhill. Like, there was a peak of my faith,
Yeah.
and now it's like fluctuating because of that thing that came.
But see, that's my point. Like regarding um, turning to God. Like if by that standard, people go that. Well, rewind. If by that standard, people believe that okay, I give my life to God, it's uphill afterwards, or it's I won't have any relapses, or what I'm putting behind, I'm never gonna go back to it. That should be your goal.
That should be the conviction that you have
Exactly.
inside you.
But
Yeah.
to believe that it's the same for everyone, like that's why I said majority. For some people, there are some people, individuals who will be able to really like reject their past and never go back to it, and that's the goal. But to set that as a standard that defines, oh, you're a good believer or not. Oh, those who are good believers never went back to their sin, but those who did, they're bad believers. That's the danger, in my opinion, of setting that standard of like black and white.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to realize like all those little metaphors that you see, like you plant a seed and it doesn't grow overnight into a forest. You can't go back to it the next day and expect the you have to let things grow.
But I knew that I was gonna mess up.
Yeah.
Like, for sure, everyone messes up. But for me, it was like, I was just saying, like, okay, that's this specific thing. I don't want to be tested by that, because if I do, I feel like I'm gonna mess up. And maybe that brought it towards me, because I manifested that and I talked about it. Maybe.
Did it bring you closer to God afterwards?
No. Well, that's what I'm living through right now. It's like, when is it gonna? Well, it's like, it's up to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the difficult part of, okay, I've been introduced something and I made the wrong decision, and now I have to live with the consequences of that. And when am I gonna?
I'm really
Curious to know what it is, but I
no
don't
no no
wanna-
no 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 no. I respect your privacy on that matter.
Okay.
But there's a verse in
Someone
the
just
Bible.
got shot.
There's a verse in the Bible that talks about your specific situation.
Okay.
That God will not allow any temptation that you can't overcome. So you can ask God, like, man, I really don't want you to put me through this and that because I'm gonna mess up. If He does allow it, it's to test you.
To
God
see
is
if
always
I could do it. But
and
I couldn't.
but you can. It's you reap what you sow into your own mind. If you condition yourself to believe that, you know what, I can't.
No, Daniel.
Go ahead.
You know how,
Yeah.
like, I have belief and I have conviction, and like, positivity is my thing, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go like, no, I can't do this, or no, I'm not, no, this is too hard for me, or whatever. But this thing, like, when I tell you I know myself, I told you, this thing,
Yeah.
if it comes near me, I'm going to mess up. And then once you know that, you would think, okay, now I know what my thing that I'm struggling with is. I'll try to stay as far away.
Yeah.
But there's a right approach to doing that thing as well. You could have it. You just have to make the right decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But then it comes around, and okay, and then you make the wrong decision. Now you're stuck with that decision.
I don't think you're ever stuck though.
You're not stuck. You're right. You're not stuck.
It's
I'm not stuck.
But I can understand the feeling of feeling stuck. In that particular scenario, I feel like we demand from God to keep us away from sin, and even in that prayer, Heavenly Father, hallowed be your name, blah blah blah. At the end, it said, "Lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil." So we can make that request from God to as much as possible to keep us away from temptation.
Yeah.
But you should also make that prayer to ask God to give you the strength to overcome temptation. And a lot of times people think that, okay, this is my vice. If I'm close to this, I'm gonna have a drawback. I'm gonna fall back into it. I think that God will allow you to mess up, to realize afterwards that you only need Him and that you can't do it yourself. I don't know if it's the same in Islam, but in Christianity, it's really like you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
You can't rely on yourself. We're sinners. You have to rely on God. There are some, like, the way we look at the Bible, like for certain sins, God will tell us like the guidelines. Don't do this. This is what you have to do to avoid. And there are some things that God will tell us there's some sort of effort that you need to do on your end. And there are certain sins that God will tell us, don't even try it. You're going to mess up. I'm telling you, I designed you that way.
Yeah.
Run away from it.
It's the same.
My Christian peeps will know what I'm talking about.
Well, the whoever's in the Muslim faith is gonna resonate with you as well, because it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. There's things that's written that tell you specifically don't go near that, because you're not designed to face that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
You're right. It's things will get solved. We just have to not talk in absolutes and just let time do its thing. How proud are you of that album that you made, It All Matters?
Really, really proud. Like from top to bottom, the rollout, the rest of the rollout that hasn't been out yet. A lot of things.
There's more.
There's more. There's still more. I have 2 more video clips.
Oh wow.
2 more performance videos, like at a studio. I have another surprise on Saturday that I'm gonna announce. I have the recap videos of the event that I did, like for the launch event. And then still a bunch of content that I shot in Spain and that I keep shooting wherever I'm at, that I'm using like for reels. So there's still a lot of things. Like the rollout album was out in July. I started like the rollout with the singles end of March. I have enough content for until January, February.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I have a lot of content. I'm really proud. I'm really happy. Honestly, that album changed my life. Making the album, releasing the album changed my life. I can already see like the changes so far. So I'm really proud of this project. Shout out to God.
Shout out to God. Okay. Quickly, where do you find inspiration from your music?
The music I listen to helps me a lot, like Kanye West, J. Cole, Kendrick. Even if it's secular music, I'm able to filter what I can use from that music that I like, the sounds, whether it's sometimes the storytelling, the flows. I'm able to take that into consideration and just filter out the bad. And in general, what inspires me is everything. Like for me, I'm not a rapper, like I'm an artist. So my life is my canvas. I take inspiration from the experiences, from the people I meet, from the situationships and relationships that didn't work out, from the friendships that were teared apart, from also my routine, you know. Like I find like there is a lot of people can resonate with the details. So when you talk about when you make music and you talk about like some experiences or little things that can seem insignificant, those are the things that people are going to be like, are we all living the same life? You know, those kind of moments.
Yeah.
So that's why I try to, what inspires me is like everything. I try to get inspiration from everything. You can go very much in depth and multiple layers about everything. Like this moment right now, podcast. Some surface level people will look at it, it's just a podcast. But you know, when you're very spiritually aware, you can you can find great pleasure and uh, great joy and simplicity and understanding it. Like you go through a lot of layers in those little moments, and you use it to make music. My music is a representation of what's going on in my head. Being authentic, I'm authentic about everything in my album. My vices, my experiences, my past views on certain things and how they fluctuated and how they morphed and matured. So yeah, that's the shortest answer I could give.
Okay, if we do an interview 1 year from now, what's an achievement that you would like to tell me about?
Voice crack.
It's a common theme in every podcast.
An achievement a year from now, I want to be able to travel and because of my music. Like I want to be able to have performances.
Like you're gonna tell me you went somewhere because
and I performed
and you performed there.
Like my event, I performed. I had a concert overseas, and also to be able to shoot. I already did like a clip in Vegas, but it would be dope in another country, a different continent. Like do a full clip, top to bottom, A to Z. I think that those are two things that I would want. Maybe another album or get signed, distribution. At least like get distribution.
You don't
want
to stay independent? You want to?
I mean, I want to stay independent, but if I'm able to deal with a distribution label,
yeah.
So like a cut of 80-20, like I keep 80, they get 20, but I get my music distributed everywhere on all the editorials and whatever. That works fine. Just distribution. I don't need help for the rest. Like I like to work with the same people, same producers, same videographers, photographers. But distribution, I feel like that's the secret sauce that a lot of artists who are already in that realm won't tell the other artists.
Yeah.
Like you need to have your music to a certain extent on those editorial playlists, sponsorships, etc. So yeah, that would be it.
Okay, we'll clip this a year from now to see what Dance has done, and I think what were you gonna say? I was
just gonna say hopefully God does His thing.
No, He always does, always.
Amen.
And you work hard, man. So I don't have a unless it's something that you don't want to do, but I feel like whatever you choose to do and you choose to go that path, I feel like you'll find that path because you work hard towards it, you know?
Amen.
What's one food you can't live without?
One food. One food. You want like I can give you a boring answer, and then nah, I'm not gonna give a boring answer. Okay.
Just give me the answer.
Just give me the. Honestly, wherever I go, I need a good burger.
A burger.
A good burger. Like even when I went to Spain, I was craving burgers. Like when I went to Italy, I craved a burger. But not like McDonald's kind of burgers. Like sometimes that's nice, but I like a good burger. Good burger.
Like the right bun, the right meat, the right.
Yeah, exactly. Like a really like A1 burger. I think that's my favorite fast food. I like pizza too, but I mean, burgers. Burgers is my go-to.
Okay. I think we're gonna cut it here. We've already lost 2 cameras. That's why the quality changed a bit. But hey, it's been a pleasure sitting down with you.
Yes,
and
sir.
Discussing finally, because it's been so long. We haven't.
We caught up.
We caught up. Yeah, I feel like it was a good talk, and I feel like we could do this for another hour because I would have so much to ask you, and so much to dive into your life and your brain and everything. I find it fascinating how our brains are wired differently. Not me and you, but like anyone. And it's interesting, and I'm curious to know. That's why I feel like that's the reason why I want to do this podcasting, because I want to dive into people's brains, and you were the first one to sit down with me and do it. So that was a pleasure of mine.
So it was an honor.
All right. Tell them what you want them to check out. Link your Instagram. Link your socials.
I am Daniel Saad. My website, my TikTok handle, Instagram handle, Twitter handle. Well, X now. What other platform? Spotify is Daniel Saad, so I just go by my first name and last name. Same thing for Apple Music, YouTube. You can find me there. And yeah, always appreciate the support. Very, very thankful for the time you give into listening to my music. I really appreciate that, and God bless y'all.
And you had something coming out this Friday too?
This Friday.
You said something
I
was
have a
coming out?
surprise on Saturday.
Oh, on Saturday.
31st. Something big. I'm excited.
Okay, well, stay tuned for that. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a blessed day. Take care. Yes, sir.
It's a wrap. That was dope.
That was dope.